Hi, how are you guys? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Alyssa, and I've got some romance books I want to discuss with y'all. So I guess let's just get into this. I think I'm going to call this Good, Bad, and Bleh, where I can just talk about like 3 recent books that I've read in like that kind of are all related to each other, and one's really good, one was just bad, and one was sort of like fine, whatever. And because I had the most clear-cut things to put into categories for romance recently, we're just gonna go with romance. I just want to say I'm not trying to spoil anything, and I'm not trying to like throw shade at any authors. I think that I know that it's incredibly hard to write a book. I have a few like half-hearted attempts at manuscripts and have never actually completed a book myself, so I'm not here to like crap on any authors. Like I like bow down to anybody who can complete any novel, but these are just my opinions on 3 books that I've read recently that I wanted to just kind of share with y'all. So hopefully it's mildly humorous and we can have a good time with it. I'm going to pull up my Goodreads, I think. That's probably the easiest way for me to do it. Might be easier to do this on my phone. Hold on. Sorry, I decided to get my phone. Also, I really need to refluff my beanbag, but I'm lazy. Do we want to start off with good or bad? Let's go bad, bleh, and good. Does that work? I don't know. Let's go bad. Okay, so I read this book, The Centaur's Bride by Tamsin Leigh, or Lee? Not sure. It'll be up here. You can pronounce that however you believe it should be pronounced. I read this because I was like, I had a brain moment, you know, like driving, a brain moment. I had like a random thought moment where I was driving or like I was in the shower or something, and I was just like spacing out, you know, disassociating from life because life is horrible. And I was like, is there centaur romance? Like, are there romances where people have sex with horses, and essentially like man horses? And so then I Googled it, and then I found this book, and then I bought it because that's logical. I didn't really expect this to be great, but I was really hoping for it to at least be like entertaining. I have a hard copy of it here somewhere, but I can't find it. I must be hiding it somewhere. I'll read you the summary. It says, even monsters need a mate. A centaur among horse shifters, Black Stevens has always been an outsider. To the herd, he's one kind of monster unable to assume full equine form, and to humans, he's a creature only found in nightmares. When the herd's leader offers him a position among the herd's ranks, he can't say no. All he has to do is marry the hot heiress and keep the ranch in herd hands. Renee Serica, used to living in the shadows of her rock star best friend, inherits a ranch from her grandfather she hasn't seen in years. She intends to take one last jaunt across the sage-covered hills before she sells the place and perhaps ride a sexy cowboy along the way. But the people on the ranch are acting mighty strange, and her sexy cowboy has a secret she's never expected. When the herd leader reveals a devious hidden agenda, Black must choose between finally joining the herd or protecting his mate. And then there's content warnings. Okay, so I was just sort of disappointed in general. First of all, this entire romance takes place over approximately a 36 to 48 hour interval, and I feel like that's not enough time for you to come to grips with the fact that the man you're boinking also can become a horse. And I thought that it was sort of a cop-out in some way, and I don't know what this says about me mentally, but I feel like making it like a shapeshifter thing is somehow a cop-out. Like, if we have blue-horned aliens in space boinking, why can't we have just like fully formed centaurs boinking? Like, I guess that goes into like a bestiality area that is probably more than taboo, but I don't know. I just felt like I would like to see what somebody else can do with it, with the idea. And I don't know, it was just, there were like a lot of really, it was like super cheesy and way too fast. And I mean, it just wasn't good. Like it just wasn't good. The steam wasn't very steamy. It was too ridiculous, where it was just funny. It wasn't even, and like not even like enjoyably funny. Like it was just bad funny. Like it was just bad. And I feel like I should have known this, but I think I was expecting somewhere in there to be like more enjoyment. I wasn't expecting like, you know, Pulitzer Prize writing, but I was expecting it to be more enjoyable. It's a thing I did. And if I can find the TikTok, if I can find this TikTok that I think about, I saw it months, like I read this a while ago. I saw this TikTok way after, and it was someone's response to somebody asking, what do centaurs do with their human arms when they're running? And it's hilarious.
But then my brain decided to wonder about what do centaurs do with their human arms when they're galloping? If they're not like shooting an arrow or something hot, like they probably don't go like this, like a human does when they're running. They just like, what do centaurs do with their arms when they gallop? What do they do? Someone tell me. Don't tell me. Show
and
me.
In this book, she rides him, and she rides him like he's a pony, and it's just, I don't know, it's so freaking weird, and like I just don't think, like she's off put by the fact that when she finds out he's a shapeshifter for like approximately like 1 hour, and then she's like, no, you're hot, so I'll bang you. You could have gone so far with that. Like you could have created tension. You could have like made this like a whole thing. No, it was like 36 hours and they were like madly in love. And I hate to use the phrase, it wasn't realistic when discussing a Centaur romance, but it wasn't realistic and I didn't appreciate it. So that's my contender for my bad recent romance read. I feel like my recent romance read is going to upset some people for some reasons. And it's probably going to upset other people if they've never heard of this for other reasons. And that is Priest by Sierra Simone. Now, the writing in this was significantly better than The Centaur's Bride. As you could probably imagine, Sierra Simone is like an established, like mainstream sort of indie romance author. The steam was steamy. Like I was here for that. But okay. The whole time I'm reading this, the only thought I could think while I was reading this stinking book is what in the Thornburns is going on here. Because so essentially the premise of Priest is that there's this priest that is, he falls for this lady, this sexy lady, and he has to choose between his vows to God and her, which is a very compelling storyline, except this is just ridiculous. This book was so ridiculous. The scenes, if you've read this, where he's like anointing her with like holy oils while doing certain things to her, it like there was this weird like religious kink that I just couldn't relate to. And I know that like that's the point of taboo romance, is to sort of push those boundaries, but like it wasn't even so much the taboo, it was just like it was so in your face trying to like sexualize religious rituals, and it was just really weird. And I couldn't take it seriously, and I had zero desire to continue on with the series when I was done. I did ask a friend of mine at work to read it as well, and she was like,
what in the fuck is this book?
So, I don't know. I mean, the steamy stuff was good, but it was really, really off-putting too. Like, I don't know, maybe it was too taboo for me. So that's why I have it in like Bleh, because I feel like there are people that really love this book, and it is fantastic for those people, but for me it was too much. Like, I mean, it was it did what it said on the tin, you know, like I read it, I had a good afternoon, it was fun, but I don't ever need to go down that road again. And also like this guy like wasn't a priest. Like, I'm sorry, he wasn't a priest. Like, he became a priest because a priest like molested his baby sister, and so then he like became a priest to like be a better priest. But he like was never really a priest. Like, he was never a good priest. It's not like, so like there was no tension. Like, he pretty much like saw this woman and was like, yeah, I'm gonna bang you, and then banged her. So like there was very little like mental struggle for him. I feel like it was so superficial, him being like, oh, but God, no, there was no mental gymnastics he had to go through. So like, again, it's the same with like this lady and the centaur. Like, I guess if there's going to be a conflict, make it a conflict and really make the character struggle. Obviously, they struggled more in Priest than they did in the Centaur's Bride.
The words are coming out of my mouth right now.
So I needed more tension and like less just weirdly using religion as sex. It was so weird. I just... Moving on to the good. You ready for the good? I'm ready for the good. So I read Gothicana by Runix, and I abso-flipping-lutely loved this romance. This was all the things that I enjoy. I mean, it could have been a little steamier, but like, I'm not gonna hold it against it because I just thoroughly enjoyed the ride. I was here for it. So this is a gothic paranormal romance, which here for that. And I'm gonna read you the summary. I didn't read you the summary for Priest because you don't really need it. Here's the summary for Gothicana. An unusual girl, an enigmatic man, an ancient castle, what could go wrong? An outcast her entire life, Corvina Clem is left adrift after losing her mother when she receives the admission letter from the mysterious University of Varenmore. She accepts it as a sign from the universe. The last thing she expects, though, is an olden, secluded castle on top of a mountain riddled with secrets, deceit, and death. And an enigma his entire life, Vad Deverell likes being a closed book, but knowing exactly everything that happens in the university, a part-time professor working on his thesis, Vad has been around long enough to know the dangers the castle possesses. He knows the moment his paths cross with Corvina's, she's dangerous to everything he is. They shouldn't have caught each other's eye. They cannot be, but a chill-inducing centuries-old mystery forces them to collide. People have disappeared every 5 years for over 100 years, and Corvina is getting clues to unraveling it all, and Vad needs to keep an eye on her, and so begins a tale of mystique, the morbid, the macabre, and a deep love that blossoms in the unlikeliest places. This book was just so much fun. This is like, it's got gothic, dark academia vibes, it's got witchy magic, it's got tarot and sex and mysteries and death, and just, it was so much fun. Like, I could not stop reading it. It was a joy. Vad is sexy, and Corvina is fucked up, and he loves her anyway. There's like some really good one-liners in here. So Vad says to her when he declares his love, he says, "This will last until the day roses on my grave stop sharing roots with the roses on yours. I will have you even in death, little witch. I am your beast, I am your madness, and you are my afterlife." Swoon. He's the mountain I build my castle on. You stand, I soar, you crack, I crumble. Like, it's just, it's so like that dramatic, almost like obsessive love that I love stories like that. And there's a lot of like mental illness and mental health stuff that gets brought up. And that's one of my favorite things about romance, which I know a lot of people like poo-poo romance, but romance has romance does this, and I think sometimes thrillers and mysteries and like all those like more fluffy books that people can not discredit, there's a word I'm looking for, but they can sort of brush aside and be like, yeah, that's fluff. They're actually sometimes really great at dealing with very touchy or delicate subjects because they deal so much with like character and the human experience and emotions and internal things that I feel like they do a really good job sometimes, especially with like mental health or like abuse or just like those more psychological things. I feel like sometimes they do a really good job at addressing those because they're so character driven in general as stories. Anyway, I really love Gothicana, and if you're looking for like a good, because it's still fall, if you're looking for like a good dark, and I don't mean like, but like I mean like dark atmospheric romance, and you like a little paranormalness, and you like a little like melodrama, I would say Gothic Hannah. It was really, really good. I really, really enjoyed this. Anyway, so those are my 3 recent romance reads that I wanted to talk to you about. That's the good, the bad, and the blah. And I know I didn't do them in that order, but for some reason that makes sense to say it like that to y'all. But anyway, hopefully you enjoyed this style of video. And if you did, let me know down below. Let me know like some of your recent reads and how you would tier rank them. If this is something you would like, I can do this again. I definitely have had a bunch of fantasy reads that I could go through. Oh, I'd love to talk to you guys about Atlas 6 because I have thoughts. Anyway, let me know down below if you want to see more videos kind of like this with like brief sort of head-to-head summaries in certain genres, and I will go ahead and make more of those for you. Otherwise, please like and subscribe. I also do a podcast with my friend Naomi. You can find a link to that down below too. It's everywhere there are podcasts. You can listen to a podcast, and yeah, otherwise I'll see you guys in my next video, whatever that may be, because it's my channel and I can do whatever I want.
So just sit with me, talking to the night until the morning, building chemistry. I don't think